One of the things that I found to be very interesting in our day is that we as Muslims have started to use a feminist lens to view the deen. And you may not consider yourself a feminist. You may think, no, Islam is a feminist religion. The Prophet ﷺ was a feminist. These are all things that we've heard people say, and you may believe them yourself. But I'll just want to give you a little bit of a heads up about how your feminist studies or your gender studies or simply just the online environment may be impacting your identity as a Muslim. The first is that you have a problem with the patriarchy. Yeah, I said it. If you have a problem with the patriarchy, with men being amirs, with men being leaders, with men being leaders of the family, with a wali, with husband being the amir of the household, you have a problem with patriarchy. And that means that you have a problem with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's system. It is what it is. So you need to ask yourself, do my feminist ideals or the ideas that I have, if you don't call yourself a feminist, do they conflict with the system that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has designed? And if so, what am I going to do about them? One of the things that feminism has done to women is make us see men as the enemy. And that men are a monolithic group that have all the power, patriarchy, and their job is to oppress women. And it sounds so good on paper. It reads so well in an essay. It sounds amazing on a podcast. But when you start to live according to those ideals, it becomes problematic because you have a father, you have brothers, you potentially would like to have a husband one day. One day you may even have sons. And so if you see men as the enemy, how are you going to navigate these relationships? How are you going to give these people their haqq? How are you going to be a dutiful daughter? How are you going to be a great sister? How are you going to be a loving wife? How are you going to be a responsible mother if you hate men? So that's the first thing. If you have a problem with the patriarchy, it's something you need to look at. Another thing, if you resent the fact that men have certain roles Islamically and women have certain roles Islamically, it's a problem. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's system is very clear. He has given us distinctly different roles, complementary roles, important roles, but different. And if you resent the fact that women have a particular role, potentially with regards to children, with regards to the home, with regards to the rules of hijab, with regards to the rules about how we behave and where we go and what we do, and if you're looking at men and saying, well, how come they don't have to do that? How come they are allowed to do that? There is going to be a problem because now you have an issue with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's system. That means that your feminist teachings and ideas are conflicting with your Islamic identity. Third way is if you have an issue with your husband being a man. Now, I know that a lot of people say that we want a man, he must know his Islamic duties, he has to look after me, he has to provide for me. Islamically, that's what he has to do. I know a lot of sisters who say that. But if you ask them, are you prepared to submit? Are you prepared to obey? Oh, the conversation changes. The tone changes. If he told you to wear hijab and you're not covering, would you do it? Now the conversation changes because we have allowed ourselves to believe that it's okay to have some aspects of qawam, some aspects of the provision and not accept the full package. This again goes back to feminism and that desire to be on par with men and to be exactly on the same level as men in everything. This is an issue because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's system is not designed that way. So sis, if any of these sound like you, that may be a sign that your feminist ideas or ideas influenced by feminism are at odds with your Islamic identity. Because the reality is, as Muslims, we submit. We submit to the laws of Allah because we trust that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows us better than we know ourselves. And any time we embrace an idea or a movement outside of Islam, we have to look at the movement with the lens of Islam. So we should be judging any ideology through a Muslim lens rather than judging Islam through the lens of that ideology. So check yourself and see if any of these apply and make the necessary adjustments, inshallah.